Inside Pediatrics contains real-life surgical scenes in a hospital environment. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Inside Pediatrics,
we were prepared for me to deliver and for Zaya to pass. No one really thought that there was anything else that we could do.
She's been a fighter this whole time, a little warrior. She deserves a fighter's chance.
in the middle of America lies one of the busiest independent non-profit children's hospitals in the country. Go inside the operating rooms and the transports. Go inside each family's journey, each patient's story.
I'm coming home. I'm coming home.
Go inside Pediatrics at Children's Mercy, Kansas City. Letitia Green was 4 months pregnant when she got devastating news.
It was pretty horrible. They noticed that her heart wasn't functioning the way it should, but they didn't exactly know what it was.
At the Elizabeth J. Fetal Fetal Health Center, Letitia learned her baby girl Zaya has half a heart, also known as hypoplastic left heart syndrome, and may be born too soon.
Before getting pregnant with Zaya, I lost 2 other babies. We kind of knew that this was a pattern and it was going to keep happening if we didn't do something about it.
For Zaya, showing up at 24 weeks of pregnancy, you would have first and foremost a severe prematurity issues. But to have hypoplastic left heart and no way to intervene, you're too small, you're too early, that baby would have died.
We were prepared for me to deliver and for Zaya to pass. That was just the state of mind of everybody. No one really thought that there was anything else that we could do. And for her not to make it because of me, it would have been rough.
The fetal health team proposed a revolutionary idea rarely attempted with an HLHS baby. Insert a tiny balloon to keep Zaya in the womb.
Just the thought that they would do something that's not common to help save her life, it means everything.
She said she was willing to try anything to help keep her babe inside. That's what she wanted to do, so we were all in.
Happy birthday to you.
Today is Leah's 8th birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
But her party is at Children's Mercy because, like baby Zaya, her heart is sick.
Leah was born with very complex congenital heart disease that required a series of surgeries.
Leah also has HLHS, and her 3 reconstructive surgeries bought her valuable time.
The problem with this is that it does not always last.
What do you want on your ice cream? Sprinkles. And you want cake? Yeah. Well, if you're gonna be here, definitely celebrate.
Leah's reconstructed heart was doing great, but she got a cold, and this small illness revealed a big problem.
So I took her to the Children's Mercy urgent care. They took her by ambulance, and then we found out that her heart was starting to go into failure.
Children's Mercy is one of the highest volume pediatric heart centers in the nation. Dr. Brian Birnbaum pushes medicine to the limits to keep Leah alive.
Although we tried everything we could with her medical therapies, Leah's heart continued to be sick and really thought that her best chance for long-term, not just survival, but quality of life was for a heart transplant.
We've always been told she'd have to have a heart transplant. We just were told maybe in her 30s. We go to this little meeting room and there's all these doctors around and talked about in the 30s, we talked about in her teens. Well, the time is now. We're just deer in a headlight.
With no other options, Leah is placed on the waiting list for a heart transplant. 1A, the highest priority.
Ready? Okay, you got this. Joey. Yeah?
At Children's Mercy, 2-year-old Jack Robinson is having kidney surgery this morning. And across town at St. Luke's Hospital, so is his dad.
Did you get some rest last night? No, not really.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi.
Morning.
So you know what we're gonna be doing? All right.
Jack will receive his dad's kidney in a living donor transplant.
He'll be taking out his own kidneys. The new one will go in on the right side, similar to where his kidney is now. It takes about 3.5, 4 hours to do the kidney. It takes about another hour to take his kidneys out. So we're looking at maybe about 5.5 hours to do the whole thing.
Gotcha. All right.
And we'll keep you posted and let you know how things are going. Alrighty, we should get started here shortly.
All right. Thank you.
We're going to be taking the left kidney from his dad and putting it into Jack. We should get the kidney fairly quickly after it comes out and get it back in and get blood supplied to it, usually within 3 to 4 hours.
The Children's Mercy Kidney Transplant Program is the largest in the region. The surgical team is ready, but for the family, Transplant Day brings mixed emotions.
We're really lucky. We've only waited a year. What we've been doing is what we know, and it's been working. So we're just really scared for the next part. Make sure it keeps working, and we'll start figuring out how much better it is to have a real kidney.
After removing Jack's tiny diseased kidney, there's no turning back. Jack's new kidney from his father is on its way to Children's Mercy. In the operating room, the transplant team is preparing to place the kidney from Jack's 6-foot-tall father into 2-year-old Jack.
I have the kidney.
Most people would believe that, well, he's a little guy, he's gonna get a little kidney. And actually that's not true, because little kidneys have an increased tendency to clot and not work. And so what we prefer, and the kids do best, when a little child like Jack receives an adult kidney.
The pediatric team is ready for the unique challenges an adult donor transplant presents.
That adult kidney can sometimes act like a sponge, and it sort of soaks up a lot of the blood supply. And so if you don't give the kids a lot of fluid in the operating room, you can actually lead to low blood flow to that kidney and clotting of the kidney. And if that kidney clots, it no longer functions, it's gone.
After a year of preparation and hours of surgery with 2 transplant teams, Jack's new kidney is functioning perfectly.
And now we're just going to put the kidney back up here and put the valve back on, and we're ready to go home. Everything went well. The new kidney fit in very nicely. It was large, but it still fit in very nicely.
So we just heard that Jack is done, all good. Everything has gone as great as it could. It's lots of emotion, but really happy emotion. So really excited, and then I just can't wait to snuggle him. Hopefully this afternoon, once I get to hold him, I can go over across town and might say a quick hi to Jeff and then hurry back.
Every time we have a successful transplant, it's terrific, because we're giving these kids the gift of life. In Jack's case, you know, we've taken care of him since he's been 1 year of age when he presented to us with failure to thrive. Now he's even healthier with a very healthy transplant. That's what it's all about. That's why we're here.
Mama's right there. I love you. Yeah. You did so great. And Daddy did so great. Oh, you don't need to cry. We're happy. You're gonna feel so much better soon. Yeah. Hi. Yeah. Great. You look awesome.
Specialists at the Elizabeth J. Farrell Fetal Health Center provide innovative care for critically ill babies like Zaya before, during, and after delivery.
Fetal Health Center is completely multidisciplinary. We do everything as a team. It is a very powerful process and allows families to really understand the problem that their baby has, but also gives them the feeling that there really is a team of people that are going to take care of their baby, and there really is a good plan that's going to give the baby the best chance for survival and the best chance to be healthy. There's very few places in the country that can provide this kind of comprehensive care.
2 women began this hospital, and their mission was that no child would be turned away. So with that philosophy, if we can provide a therapy that may not be well established, whether that's through innovation, a new surgery, a new product that might be helpful with minimal risk, that's what we're here for.
I do believe having the pessary saved Zaya. Ooh, we got to full term. Yeah, she did good.
The cardiac team now joins the fetal health team to plan how to care for Zaya's deformed heart when she is born. Back in the pediatric intensive care unit, Leah suddenly stops moving on her left side.
She had a sudden stroke. There was a clot in her brain that was stopping the blood flow, and if there is permanent damage, then transplant is no longer an option, and we are out of options.
When she had the stroke, they told us up to a year of recovery. May not know for a month or two what kind of setback she's gonna have, but she's walking in 5 days. She's worked really hard to regain the use of her left side of her body. It's just that she's just tired.
Leah is tired because her heart is shutting down. Implanting a ventricular assist device, or VAD, may be her only chance to stay alive.
We know that in kids who have very significant heart disease like Leah, the risk of complications, including things like stroke, is much, much higher. So we don't want to place an assist device unless there's really no other way to support her.
A procedure in the cath lab could provide valuable data to help make the decision. But the risk is high. So before she leaves her room, Leah and her dad dance.
We do a slow dance before any time she goes out with anesthesia. Then I always have her tell Mom to reassure her that I've got this.
Dr. James St. Louis is ready for emergency surgery if Leah's heart stops in the cath lab.
So we needed numbers in the cardiac catheterization to help us decide whether she was a candidate for the device. The OR team was ready to go. I was there. We knew this was a high-risk catheterization, and the parents knew it as well.
As doctors feared, Leah's heart stopped. In the cardiac cath lab, the team fights to save Leah's life.
Her heart just stopped. Really, her heart was strained as it was. When she went to sleep, her heart just decided not to work anymore. It had given up completely.
Her heart had stopped about 3 more times after that. She kept stopping, and we thought we were going to lose her.
The team mentioned before that ECMO could be like the last ditch effort, to save her. Can you do that? She's been a fighter this whole time, little warrior. She deserves a fighter's chance.
We were prepared, and within a few minutes, we had her on the extracorporeal membrane oxygenation, the ECMO circuit. So it did the work for the heart and lungs.
Leah's heart stopped 8 times, but she is alive.
She went from this cyanotic, bluish, grayish, ashy color to being pink. And I'd never seen her be pink, and it was amazing how great she looked. I'll never forget the next day, I talked to one of the doctors in the PICU, and they said, she's not done fighting, so neither are we.
The next step to keep Leah alive until transplant is another surgery to place her ventricular assist device, a Berlin heart.
This last one I was the most nervous about. I couldn't dance with her, I couldn't pick her up, so we just held hands, and we really had a sense that if this was it, she lived it well. We lived it well with her.
A Berlin in a single ventricle patient is already a very high complexity. She is in a really difficult situation, and every option we have is incredibly high risk.
Ryan and Kim try to stay strong as they watch their daughter go into surgery for what might be the last time. Thanks to the innovative treatment at the Fetal Health Center before birth, Zaya survived and had the first of her 3 corrective heart surgeries just days after birth.
Zaya! Hi! She is getting so big.
Now, baby Zaya enters the critical 3 to 6 month wait before her next surgery.
Up to 1 in 4 kids would have an event needing CPR, calling 911, or even death at home. We work very hard to try to reduce any sort of bad events at home, but we can't totally take away that these kids are born with half a heart.
Children's Mercy developed an app-based program called CHAMP to monitor HLHS babies between surgeries with daily videos and vital sign monitoring to improve their chances of survival.
And it will read, when we turn it on, it'll read her oxygen saturations and her heart rates. And so we'll give you that so you can check her at home.
There's all sorts of things as nurses and nurse practitioners we can see maybe before parents have even noticed. And so for a family to say, I think her breathing's different, can you look at the video? And I can almost be at the home instantly within 2 minutes of the video saving to say, yep, I agree. Let's change that medicine back to where it was before. It's really innovative that we can really improve their care from home.
You have any questions about that stuff?
It's pretty straightforward. The CHAMP program is amazing. We like the whole tablet thing and doing the video. We can tell them what's going on. They respond right back to us. So it's that immediate response that we really like.
Jack is still recovering in the intensive care unit after his kidney transplant.
We're on day 2 post-op, and he's doing really well. The whole time he's been very responsive and answering our questions and stuff, so every once in a while we'll get a slight smile or a wave. I'm just elated at all times.
I think over the next 2 days you're going to see Jack return with a smile on his face and ready to run out of bed. His parents felt that Jack was a normal child on dialysis with good growth and development, but they've seen nothing like they're going to see after his transplant. His energy is going to increase, his appetite's going to increase, so he's really going to accelerate in all aspects of his development. Can I look at your tummy? Okay. Oh, it looks good. Good. Okay. You want some stickers today? Shall we bring you some stickers? All right.
Jennifer is also monitoring her husband's recovery after he gave his kidney to his son.
So we've gotten to speak with Jeff a few times, and it's been really good for Jeff because he's been able to see him and kind of have an idea of what he looks like. But he's doing really good. He seems in really good spirits. They've got him up and moving and just trying to get him home as well, or to get to come visit us.
It's really going to change everything for the better for the entire family, which is really one of the greatest things about giving kids that organ transplant.
I'm excited to have them both in one room just to see how everybody's doing together. To see their reunion will be pretty special.
Leah came out of the Berlin surgery on ECMO in critical condition.
She's supposed to have been asleep for the full 24 hours, and doctor comes in there, she opens her eyes a little bit, and he's trying to talk to her, in a loud voice, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she just sticks her thumb up, And everyone was sort of in awe with that.
Leah continues to fight. With her Berlin heart functioning well, she's able to wean off ECMO after just 5 days.
I was so nervous that morning because you're sitting there not knowing, is it gonna work, is it not? And she did great.
The difficulty with Leah is getting her to transplant. We have been very honest with the family that it's going to be a rough road, and we're hoping that we are going to be able to support her to transplant, but that there are a lot of additional complexities for her.
Without the new heart, she won't survive. The wait time could be, average would be 3 to 4 months. It could be as high as 8 months to 10 months. So eventually a heart will come for her, and I think she's going to do well with it.
It's been a month on the Berlin heart machine, and for now, Leah is stable.
Now all we can do is wait. We just hope and pray that she's healthy and we can have her active on the list, and while we just wait for that gift to come. It's hard to wait. It's very hard to wait, especially when you've been here for months.
Leah will face many challenges as she waits for her new heart, and the Children's Mercy team will support her every step of the way.
I'm just waiting for my heart.
She's always defied the odds. Strongest person I've ever met. I assure you that whenever she gets her gift, I will pick out an amazing song for that one.
3 days after Jeff donated his kidney to his son, the Robinsons are back together.
Jack.
Hi.
Hi, buddy.
What do you think?
How are you doing, buddy?
Show Daddy your scar. You want to show him?
Oh.
He's kind of proud of it.
Oh, my goodness.
Whoa.
You want to see mine?
There's an owie.
Yeah, I got an owie just like yours.
Yes, because of the kidney. That's right. Mwah. Oh my gosh, you're so smart.
Everyone told me, you need to go home and rest. I said, well, I got one stop I have to make. It's been tough sitting in a hospital bed, not being able to, just look at him and, hold his hand. He looks like he's in a lot better shape than I am.
Anytime you can see a family who has to deal with all the burden of dialysis have a remarkable change in their life when you give that transplant, it makes everything worthwhile.
Dad, I love you.
I I love you. I'm just thinking what a brave little boy he is.
Jeff will live normally with just one kidney, and his son Jack will have Daddy's kidney and a new lease on life.
This is why we do what we do, to cure kids, to help kids, to make kids healthy, and again, to change the lives of the families.
After Jack and Jeff recover, the Robinsons head home to experience life without dialysis and all the joys of having a happy, healthy 2-year-old. While Zaya's at home, the CHAMP team monitors her home videos and notices she's struggling. She's brought in for evaluation. The cardiology team sees that Zaya's weak heart is under serious strain.
So I wanted to know what you thought about her aortic arch and her function.
Ultrasounds reveal Zaya's aortic arch has a blockage, which is increasing pressure on her weak and malformed heart.
We want to make her pumping chamber or ventricle function better, and we think we can do that by relieving the arch narrowing. And then we'll see how her heart function and ventricle recovers. I'm still very hopeful for her making it through.
This is a huge setback in Zaya's path to heart reconstruction. High pressures mean the second reconstruction surgery is too dangerous. She needs a repair now.
Just given that her function isn't as good as it was before and her tricuspid valve is leaking more than it had been, we're hopeful that if we can go to the cath lab, balloon her aorta again, get a decent result, give her ventricle a little bit of time to recover, and then surgically repair it.
Heart catheterization and arch repair surgery are Zaya's only chance, but they add more risk to her journey.
This is a good attempt of trying to get her to feel better.
Yeah.
Okay. She's strong. She can do this.
On the next episode of Inside Pediatrics.
We didn't want to hear the bad news. Nobody wants to hear the bad news.
For this baby, we have the option to explore fetal surgery, and that possibility is our lifeboat.